Welcome in to a Monday edition of the Jordy Culotta Show, driven and powered by Go Chevrolet, live here on this Monday. Welcome in. Thank you for starting what looks like is going to be a very sloppy and wet, traffic-riddled week. As school starts today for LSU, the roads are going to be jam-packed, so make sure you're staying safe out there and navigating. And as always, you can keep up with all of that through our partners and our friends over at WAFB. You can check out their app online at WAFB Plus. And keep up to date with both weather and traffic reports from our partners over at WAFB. Welcome into another week. We're going to talk to Brody Miller here at 7:30 this morning. And Miller dropped a bomb yesterday in the LSU football world here heading in to preparation for Florida State. They learned that John Emery is looking like he's going to face a 2-game suspension. And Radarius Jones, a depth chart cornerback, a guy that was competing for time at cornerback, that was someone that looked very good on the depth chart that could help you out, is not going to be able to play this season because of ineligibility, what feels like academics. And we'll talk a lot about that coming up here. And as we said, we'll talk to Brody Miller coming up at 7:30 this morning. Then in the 8 o'clock hour, Colby Richardson is going to be in studio with us. Richardson, really the story of camp, from people that have had a chance to watch LSU play and scrimmage here through some of the early portions of practice that have been open to both the media and some boosters and former players and friends and family of the program. Everybody's just really raving about the McNeese cornerback who transferred over, a graduate transfer, originally out of New Orleans. He's going to be in studio with us in the 8 o'clock hour. So really looking forward to catching up with Richardson and just kind of getting his point of view of, coming out of South Louisiana, because he really looks the part. Like, when we heard his name being really kicked around and talked about early on in camp, when you went out there and saw him for the first time, your eyes just kind of jump like, wow. He looks SEC, physically ready. Even a guy like Jarick Bernard-Converse, who, look, his skins are on the wall, man. He's got a lot of experience and played at a very high level for a while now, and brings all of that over to LSU with his transfer. Standing side by side by Richardson. Richardson just looks like, he almost looks like a pro. Just in the way that he's built, his physique. If nothing else, he definitely passes the eyeball test, but everybody is talking about him throughout camp. You heard Brian Kelly again talking about him in the post-scrimmage media scrum on Saturday inside Tiger Stadium, and some of the things that he's been doing to stand out. Looking forward to talking to him in the 8 o'clock hour. So appreciate, as we said, you starting your week here with us. Make sure you hit that like button, that share button, that comment button, if you don't mind. Get us moving in the world today here on digital media. We are daily brought to you by our friends over at Go Chevrolet, GEAUX Chevrolet.com. I'll be over at Go Express Auto Sales today talking to the fine crew over there on the corner of Florida Boulevard and Sherwood Forest. If you're looking for a brand new car, you can stop in and see them in Laplace if you want to stop and shop for new cars with Go Chevrolet. GEAUX Chevrolet.com. Everybody's scattered this morning. Lizzie is here. Lloyd is here. Back on the ones and twos. Back producing the show. As Stewie got his fall scheduled a 7:30 Monday, Wednesday, Friday econ class.
Brutal. So we might see him. Back. What days did you say?
Brutal.
Monday.
I think it's just Monday and Wednesday.
We might see him on Wednesday.
Yeah.
If I know my guy Stewie, take 15 hours, let's drop it down to 12.
That's
econ,
right.
do I really need it?
That's right.
If you don't understand econ the first time you take it or the first day you're there, you're cooked.
Yeah.
Just go ahead and get out of there.
No, it's one of those classes that you walk into, and if it sounds like a foreign language, if it looks and feels like you're looking at like hieroglyphics, just I'm out.
It's over.
I'm out. I appreciate it.
Same thing with accounting. Like you gotta weasel. Just get through it. Whatever you got to do, take that chance.
So as we said, the Carpool Queen will be in here in the second hour. We should have some people kind of walking through here over the next 2 hours. But, man, I hated the news about John Emery. As we said, Go Chevrolet, GEAUX Chevrolet.com, and then Metropolitan Health Group, Real Doctors, Real Solutions, Jason Ramazan, Charlie Harvey, always bringing you our phone line here, and proud supporters of the show. We appreciate their relationship, our partnership with them, as we daily bring you the Jordy Culotta Show here on YouTube and all over our social media at Culotta Show. But Brody Miller, who we'll talk to here in a couple of minutes, had it first. LSU running back has been suspended. John Emery has been suspended for the first 2 games of the season against Florida State and Southern, according to multiple sources that Brody was able to talk to over the weekend, and The Athletic picked that up. Emery is still attempting to appeal the suspension and reduce it. We caught wind of this information a little bit ago and a couple of weeks ago. With John Emery not receiving those first-team reps in practice and it being open to the media, that was a real big red flag for a lot of people. People were asking questions, so kind of kicking around and asking what was going on. I kind of had it explained to me that Emery was in the appeal process of last year's suspension. Like, he was still dealing with some of the ripple effects of what happened to him last year. And let me just say this to start off with the Emery situation. John Emery is the one that holds the most accountability here. If Emery would have taken care of his business from an academic standpoint before ever getting into this situation last year, there would be nothing that's residual from all of this. But with that being said, the student athlete here, John Emery, has, as his lawyer painted the picture last season when all of this kind of popped up, just the night before the season opener, the regular season opener versus UCLA, when this was, made public and Emery was, in fact, suspended for the season for academic-related reasons. And he had missed some classes or had to drop classes. And look, I'm not getting into grades and hours and all that stuff. It's just academics. And I don't want to paint Emery in some situation where he was a bad student as far as a failing student, because that's not the case. I think it came down to an hour situation where he went under a limit, and he was dealing with a lot of personal things. He had deaths in the family, to his immediate family. He had COVID a couple of times during this time period. There was just a lot going on with John Emery. And while I'm not making excuses, there is hardship cases that make sense, right? And at the end of everything that's going on here, I still believe that Emery had a chance to take care of his business at a certain point that would have kept him out of all of this trouble that he's finding himself in, now. But after talking to people, see, this is the problem with the damn NCAA, because this is an NCAA issue for John Emery. And, LSU got themselves into this situation by not, following through. And let this be said, let the record state, it is nearly, and I say this like unapologetically, and like people, you do realize this, right? It is almost impossible to become academically ineligible as a football player at a Division I institution in the SEC. There is so much support around these players to make sure not only that they're going to class, but that they're getting their grades. And if you are the starting running back on one of those schools, on one of those campuses, I would have believed before this situation that it is impossible to become academically ineligible at a school like LSU as the starting running back. And again, Emery has a lot of responsibility to bear here, but from LSU's standpoint, and I'm not going to point backwards and crap all over the past coaching staff, but I mean, my goodness. You know what I mean? Like, you look up Radarius Jones is academically ineligible. Emery's still dealing with academic issues. I mean, again, the players deserve and need to take on the bulk of the responsibility and accountability in these situations. But my goodness, man, how in the hell is John Emery academically ineligible? I mean, really. From just a support from what he has at his arm's length, what the resources he has, right? And again, from Emery's standpoint, he's got to weight that responsibility. But from LSU's standpoint, going backwards, how in the hell does this happen? Like, how in the hell is the starting running back academically ineligible? If we even knew the support staff, the layers of support staffers around these student athletes to make sure that stuff like this never happens, it just, again, paints the picture of how, unaligned LSU was at one point. But now still dealing with it and talking to people around the situations. Since Brian Kelly took the job, John Emery has recommitted to the program. In that recommitment, he's never missed one class. In going to all of those classes, I was told he held a 2.7 GPA. He's back in good academic standing with the university. He's done everything he can do from a personal standpoint to prove to whoever it may be, whether it's the SEC, LSU, the NCAA, that he has made the adjustments in his life and has suffered the penalty while taking away an entire season from the guy. He still has 2 games left because the NCAA has some quirky rule about this suspension that they have to stand by. After Emery's done so, like with the ability to help this kid out from a mental standpoint. I mean, if you saw him in here the day he was here sitting down in that interview, you could see, man, there was a lot of demons that had been exorcised for John Emery. There were a lot of things that he had overcome and gotten to a point where he was ready to take on the challenge, and not to say that he's still not going to have an effective senior season. But I mean, this is incredible that he's still dealing with this issue from last year after being penalized the entire year. What else can the kid do besides sit out what would be deemed really his money season from a prospect standpoint? Right? Like, I'm not making any excuses for Emery. I mean, like, he was penalized. He served his penalty. And since serving his penalty, he has shown a commitment that he has adjusted and he's made the right decisions. He's gone to class. He's upheld his GPA. From a football standpoint, look at the way he looks now. Physically, he looks different. He's committed to that part of the game. And now with momentum like that, after serving a penalty like he's done, he still has 2 games to sit out. I mean, what else do you want from the kid? What else can he give you? He gave you a year of his athletic life. One that would have been monumental for him. And now there's still 2 games that the kid has to sit out? And even through the appeal process, after proving in the appeal, never missed class, back in good academic standing, taking care of all of his responsibility and his commitment to the football program as well, has never been in any type of real trouble. I mean, teenage, college kid trouble, academic, some stuff, off the field of a minor rule breaks, but nothing that you're contemplating whether or not the guy should be in the program. It's the NCAA in this type of issue has a real opportunity, in my opinion, to step up and say, look, man, the kid served his penalty. I mean, not only that, since serving his penalty, he's shown that he's recommitted back to being a student athlete. He's doing it the right way. He's going to class. He's got his grades. He's out of trouble. He's committed to the program. Now here he is going into his senior season. Let him play. I mean, let the kid play. It's maddening, man, that these issues still swirl around and can bite LSU. And the part about this that gets LSU is not that Emery is suspended, really and truly, because, look, man, you deal with that stuff. When you got 105 18 to 20-year-olds in one setting, you're going to deal with some issues. So it's expected. But it's the timing, again, that really kind of sets LSU back from a standpoint of, you could see it early on in camp. They were giving him 1 reps but then like the days would go on and he was kind of shuffled back to the second or third team. John Emery's not the second or third best back on LSU's team. John Emery is the back on LSU's squad that they want to be the starter and kind of be, not the centerpiece, but at least the number one option back there. But with the uncertainty, you had to get guys like Noah Cain and Armani Goodwin and Josh Williams. You had to get those guys ready to play if, the day came where Emery couldn't go. So that's really been that shuffle of reps that, we've been seeing from a media standpoint, or people been reporting about, that seeing it at practice is that, the uncertainty of the appeals process with John Emery is just, it's either not looking good or they just don't have any idea. Right? But in the process of where they are, they got to get a football team ready to play. And if he can't go, he can't gobble up these first team reps that guys like Noah Cain and Armani Goodwin have made the most out of. I mean, if you think back over the last 10 practices, two of the names that have been pretty consistent of guys that have had big days have been Goodwin and Cain. Cain had from what was reported and what was told to me of people being inside of the scrimmage on Saturday, a pretty good day. And from a overall back standpoint and talking to people around the LSU offense, everybody was excited and still is excited about what John Emery brings to the LSU offense. Home run hitter, big playmaker, at any point could bust a game wide open with, a certain skill set that they just don't have anywhere else. But he still has to get better in certain parts of the game for LSU's offensive staff to fully trust him, right? Right, he's got a wide array of skill. He's fast enough to take it outside. He's big and strong enough to, kind of run you over and run through the interior, kind of a power type situation. He's skilled enough as a pass catcher to really use him in the screen game. He's got to improve on his pass protection. One thing that Noah Cain comes in here with, and one thing that Armani Goodwin really is consistent with, and Josh Williams, as Brian Kelly said on Saturday with his media availability, Williams has been the most consistent guy day in, day out. And that's, as we talk about building relationships and trust with coaches, that's what those guys want to see, just consistency. And so they don't have, as, again, Kelly said on Saturday, Leonard Fournette's not in that room. They don't have that one guy that you can just say, hey, man, 35 times a game or 35 times today, LSU's about to get on your back, and you got to win it. They don't have that guy. But, the room is filled with guys that have certain skills that you can make a very effective and productive spot out of the players that they have. And Emery being really the top option there of a guy that can, be a big playmaker for you and do a certain amount of things for you. He needs to get better in certain areas too. And I think he understands that. But, man, it's really disheartening to hear that Emery's going to be suspended. More of the Florida State game, right? I mean, I don't, the Southern game is going to be great atmosphere, and it's going to be cool to see all that goes on in and around the game. But, as far as personnel goes, I don't think anybody was expecting Emery to really, put up big numbers and flash that week. That'd be a great week for a guy like Armani Goodwin or Josh Williams to have a nice game, and give a guy like Emery a chance to, lick his wounds after what seems like is going to be a very physical opener for LSU in the Dome versus Florida State. They need Emery that night, in my opinion. They need somebody that, and really when you dig into the running back kind of situation, think back to where they were in spring and how many now would perceive to be kind of wasted reps. Corey Kiner's gone, Trey Bradford's gone, and now John Emery is, uncertain on what his status is going to be in the first two games. I say that, but it looks like he's suspended the first two games, but it's in an appeal process, so you're kind of in a wait and see. But think about the I hate to call them wasted reps, but I mean they're reps that have gone to guys that can't help you. Bradford's gone, transferred out of the or is no longer with the program. Corey Kiner transferred out of the program. And John Emery is suspended for the first 2 games. I mean, those guys got a majority of the spring reps. A lot of the early camp reps were going to Emery. And now you're starting to develop almost a brand new spot there with guys like Kane, who came in, after spring, and Armani Goodwin, who was a little banged up and was able to kind of finish spring on a strong note. It'll be interesting to see what happens in this appeals process. If LSU can maybe get this thing turned around, it would be a big win, in my opinion, for LSU to have him available in that Florida State game. I think you need his skill set there on that carpet, to get him in some opportunities to play in space and, see if he can't break one for you. But, LSU can overcome it, in my opinion, but it's a hit, man. It's a hit to lose him for Florida State. You need him early on in the season to kind of get the wheels moving on this LSU offense. And then Radarius Jones, I think that's, somebody, he's a junior cornerback, 4th-year corner. He played in just under 10 games last season. People were kind of wondering where he was going to find his way this year. A really good depth piece, in my opinion, to a defensive backfield that has a lot of question marks or just a lot of new faces. Somebody that's very familiar with the way that LSU goes through the process and, goes and kind of goes about their business, but now not going to be available because of what is being reported by Brody Miller as, an academic situation that will keep him out of the season. So, the big story here is Emery. But I don't think that it can get lost in it that a player like Radarius Jones, who, has got, he's got the capability to help you out. He's got the capability to be a piece that you can bring in a game in a situation that has played some time that's not going to be there now. So, the Sunday news cycle for LSU was not kind. And we'll talk to Brody Miller coming up here at 7:30 this morning about those about the big story about Emery.
And there's no chance of. Do you remember? I don't know who was the offensive lineman that LSU was able to kind of pick and choose what games he was suspended for. LSU's kind of been in that spot before. It feels like they're not in that same scenario right now. It feels like it's going to be the first 2 games no matter what. Because if you're able to do that, you would just go Southern, New Mexico State. There's your 2 games. Like, why wouldn't that be a part of what you appeal?
Yeah, no, that's a great observation because one thing that has been different over the last couple of years is that LSU has dealt with these types of situations pretty routinely. It feels like over the last 5 to 6 to 8 years of guys that are just missing significant time that are big time players, and for a while there they couldn't help but withhold them from the game that was next on the schedule. But then we saw almost a switch in it where who was the big left tackle on the 2019 team that plays for the Washington Commanders now?
That's what I was asking.
77. I see him. Golly, man. Yeah.
Help us out.
Why can I not remember that?
That's okay.
Sadiq Charles.
Sadiq Charles.
Big
77.
Absolutely. Is the player that, they were kind of able to kind of hand pick the games that he missed. And I don't know that for certain. Maybe we can ask Brody Miller.
Well, I don't think you have to, you can read between the lines in that scenario where it's like, oh, it's obvious he's out for the out-of-conference games. Like, they were able to finagle some sort of situation where they picked the games that were the most opportune for him to be able to miss. With this John Emery thing, I just don't know how you're able to retroactively suspend him again, because how could you go into the same or go to a new year and almost punish him retroactively from something that, look, he served the whole year. What more do you want from the kid? If it comes out that academically he didn't live up to the standard that he was supposed to again, that's different. But by all accounts, that doesn't seem to be the case. Everything that we've heard and that we've that's been reported was he kind of turned over a new leaf as soon as the Brian Kelly administration got in. He was all the way bought in. You saw Kayshawn buy in. They're doing the things that you're supposed to do. And for the NCAA just to kind of kind of kick the door and then roll, stroll in and go, oh, here's 2 more for you. It doesn't make any sense in my mind. There's no way that this couldn't be one in an appeal, but we've seen this happen with Emery before where I thought the same thing last year where, okay, obviously some things are out of your control, wherever it be the classes were misscheduled, whatever. That's on LSU's end. You can't continue, but you're taking the kid futures away at this point. Like, you're hurting his bank account because by all accounts, this is his money year. This is the time where he has to play. And when you look at the Florida State game, him coming in as a senior, running back 1, national television, and for him to not get that opportunity, it's almost ignorant of the NCAA to do this. Like, what are you really punishing him for? He's not trying to go be a banker. He's not trying to go be an accountant. He's trying to play NFL football. Let the guy play.
Yeah, that's the part that really just is so confusing to me about the NCAA. I mean, there's no way that their public relations could get any worse. And for a while there, over the last 2 years, it felt like anybody that wanted to transfer was given waivers. Anybody that wanted to become eligible was given waivers. Anybody who was appealing anything, because of just the avalanche of BS that they were taking on every single day. There's really no rules. Right? Well, I mean, they were getting exposed.
Right.
Right? I mean, like, that people were seeing kind of behind the curtain being like, oh, wow, this is fraud. I mean, like, you guys are a bunch of frauds. You know what I mean? Like, y'all don't have any really power or – there's nothing really behind any of these bylaws or any of these.
It's the Wizard of Oz.
Yeah,
it's
right.
Like, this whole thing's fake. Peel back the curtain. It's like, oh.
It's not real. So this is so confusing. Whether it's just a point on LSU, and some people are bringing up inside of the chat that Sadiq Charles was an internal situation with LSU. Kind of being the judge and juror on that, where now you're at the mercy of the NCAA, and I get that, and maybe the NCAA just has this thing for LSU at this point, and I'm not saying that it's, but I believe that the Will Wade thing was personal between the NCAA and Wade. That's really all they wanted. So getting rid of Wade is enough for LSU, or enough for the NCAA, I think, to kind of look at LSU and say, hey, look, give us 1 or 2 scholarships from the basketball program and keep it moving. But maybe they're just coming down here to, just show that, after everything that LSU has gone through and everything that's been reported at LSU, that they're still punishing them for what happened during that time period. And Emery's just kind of getting swept up in the wash, of at the wrong place at the wrong time and going through something that feels like it shouldn't be this volatile, or it shouldn't be this harsh. I mean, from what's been reported on what Emery did, and then if you remember Don Jackson, his lawyer last season, really kind of giving you the description of everything that was going on, at least in Emery's life at the time, where you were like, damn, the kid was dealing with a lot, man. He had some immediate people in his family just suddenly die. He was hit with COVID twice. I'm not making excuses, but this is just kind of the facts. And I mean, again, it's almost impossible to be a damn walk-on at a D1 school that plays in the SEC and be ineligible. If you're the starting running back, I thought it was impossible until this story right here, to be academically ineligible in any of those positions, right? And I'm not making or saying that stuff's, it's just, man,
use your
it's
head.
Pretty understood that you're here to play football, not go to school, right? We're going to make sure that all the other stuff, as long as you're breathing and blinking, you should be able to go sit with a tutor, sit in class, and go through some academic requirements to at least get a 2.0. Right? Exert a little piece of energy and you'll get yourself a 2.5 to a 3.0. Maybe graduate with honors. Right? But ineligible discussion, that ain't happening.
That doesn't happen anywhere.
Anywhere have you ever heard of how just this has plagued LSU? I mean, it is, and look, I don't think that these are problems that are going to exist into the future.
Mm-mm.
And I think that a lot of this stuff has been cleaned up, and a lot of this stuff has been looked at and been like, what in the hell were y'all doing? Who signed off on all of this stuff. Right? Like, I mean, like, it just getting that stuff back to where you're competitive. I mean, like, just getting on it. Like, because this stuff doesn't happen anywhere else. It doesn't. You know, I mean, like, you'll never find a situation at A&M, Arkansas, Ole Miss, Bama, Georgia, Florida, where their starting running back is deemed academically ineligible 12 hours before they kick the season off. That'll never happen. It'll never happen. I've never heard that of happening anywhere except when it happened at LSU, and the wave is still crashing from that decision. And it's like he sat out a season. I mean, look, for John Emery's evolution, you took his junior season of football away from him. That's his money year. I mean, like, from a personal standpoint, I don't think you could have penalized John Emery any worse than what he went through from a professional punishment than what he was served as a 20-year-old. I mean, think how important the year of John Emery's life was last season to what his professional outlook was going to be. Did he put himself in a situation where he compromised what was going to be the analysis of that? Yes. And he deserves to be punished for it. But my God, you know what I mean? Like,
enough's enough.
He was a class short. He was under hours for he was in the wrong class. That, really and truly, when it came down to it, he had some fault, but it wasn't all his fault. 12 games. He sat for 12 games. And since sitting, he hadn't missed a class. He's got over a 2.5 GPA. He's committed to the football program. He's in a great mental place. Like, you've really kind of got him on track. Why not try and encourage that from whoever is overseeing this? Like, there's not an NCAA agent down in Baton Rouge that's looking at this case saying, what's going on with the Emery situation? He's in a really good spot, man. He's not missing class. He meets with his tutor daily. He's committed to the program. They got him on the SWAT team. He's one of the leaders there. He's really looking forward to this season. In fact, probably last year might have been the best thing that ever happened to him, where it kind of refocused him, recalibrated him, got him looking in the right direction. We're going to suspend him for 2 more games. You're going to suspend him for 2 more games? You're going to pop the balloon of this kid that, and I hate to call Emery, keep calling him a kid, but I mean, this young adult that is going in to just a real pivotal time of his life. And he suffered a lot of stuff, and you got him here, and you're going to make him sit more? Just with the opportunity to help, the NCAA goes this way. And again, man, I'm not making excuses for Emery, but he served his punishment. For the crime, the punishment has been served. It's not done yet. They still have 2 weeks left before, they kick this thing off. But I don't know. All right, Brody Miller's here from The Athletic. We're going to talk to him. He broke the story on Sunday. When we come back, we'll dive into it with Miller on what could be next for LSU's running back room and where is this appeal process. Where is LSU and just kind of monitoring this situation. We'll be back with more here. Remember, Barker Brothers Plumbing and Works. Get in touch with them today. You got to call them, 225-776-2431. Mention the Jordy Culotta Show. Save yourself 15%. Remember, no website, no social media. Only way you can find him is by dialing Jude Barker straight to his pocket. That's his cell phone, 225-776-2431. Give me 30 seconds. We'll be back with Brody Miller of The Athletic here on the Jordy Culotta Show, driven and powered by Go Chevrolet.
Red Stick Sports, a local staple in Baton Rouge to all sports fans, was founded back in 1981
and has remained a family business for over 40 years. Today, they still have the great selection on the floor, but they're also a leader in custom apparel for businesses, sports teams, and other groups. Take it from us, everybody over here at FM Digital Media. They help us out with all of our apparel. Let them help you out today. Go ask for Cody over at Red Stick Sports. Check him out online at redsticksports.biz. I was embarrassed about my smile. Are you unhappy at yours? Do you not smile back at yourself? I called my friend, Dr. Spillers, over at Johnson Spillers. He fixed my smile, and now everywhere I go, people are complimenting it after the work that Dr. Spillers and the staff did to my mouth. They can do it to yours. Get in touch with them. JohnsonSpillers.com. 2 locations, one in Gonzales, one in Baton Rouge. Easy to find them, JohnsonSpillers.com.
Hey Baton Rouge, when traveling through Natchez, Mississippi, whether you need to fill up your vehicle or your belly, stop by Go-Mart and On The Go Deli. Go-Mart has clean restrooms, community coffee, an awesome beer cave, and a great selection of anything you might need on your trip. So stop by Go-Mart at 4 Sergeant Prentice Drive as you're entering Natchez on the left, and visit Tom and Wright Granning and their awesome team at Go-Mart.
We've seen the BK takeover stuff from LSU and social media, and really in his short time in Baton Rouge, there's been a lot of people embracing his approach to building this roster. What's it like to recruit alongside him?
Oh, it's been great. Coach has been awesome to me because he lets me be myself when it comes to recruiting, when it comes to coaching. He lets his coaches coach, he lets his coaches recruit. So I have no complaints on that end. And when I need him to get in touch with a kid, he's there for me. The communication line has been great. He's just been nothing but supportive.
All right, welcome back here to the Jordy Culotta Show, driven and powered by Go Chevrolet. Big report yesterday coming from our friend over at The Athletic, Brody Miller, who dropped it yesterday afternoon. If you have not read it, get over to The Athletic. Titled LSU running back John Emery to miss opening 2 games to suspension. In that same report, it was also talked about Radarius Jones, the defensive back, who looks like he is going to miss the regular season as well. Dealing with some academic issues. Let's go down to Brody Miller here, who has been covering LSU football for the past couple of years. Does a great job over at The Athletic. Get the subscription. Make sure and do that here for football season, and follow our guy on Twitter at Brody A. Miller. Brody, good morning. How are you, sir?
I'm doing well. How are you, Jordy?
Doing okay. Obviously, everybody reacting to your report yesterday that came out Sunday. Let's just start with the Emery news. John Emery missing these 2 games. This goes back to what he was dealing with last year, correct?
Correct, yeah. And I listened to you before. I think there's also an element of confusion on my end as well about just kind of how it got to this point. But the way it was explained to me was, it's not like you're suspended literally for a season. You are suspended for a semester, a fall semester. And it sounds like there are, certain, then at the end of that semester, you have to have certain, checks crossed and all that, and certain, things figured out. And I will not pretend I know all the details of what, but from what I understand, there were still some things that left them wanting to add another game or 2. Now, as you've been talking about, and as anyone at LSU will tell you, in the past 10 months, 9 months, they've been thrilled with John Emery. His grades have been good under Brian Kelly. I believe you were saying earlier, he was one of the SWAT team leaders. He's one of the guys they've been able to lean on. I mean, people at LSU are constantly reminding me, just he is in good standing with us. This is not like an issue with the LSU staff because he's blown them away lately, but it is something where it is kind of carried over from last year, all old stuff. And they still have a week or 2 to try to get this down, and they're using that as kind of a mitigating situation that, hey, look how good he's doing now, all that. But yes, it is kind of a confusing situation that, there still could be more after missing an entire season, but I think more will come out soon.
If I recall, and going back and doing some just kind of reading back on this, you sat down with Don Jackson, who was Emery's lawyer and still is, who represented him during this process. By no means am I making any excuses for Emery, but this was a situation that was very much outlying that we see from college student athletes. Can you go back to the beginning of this and just kind of how it started?
Yeah, it's a pretty wild one because, for starters, obviously, you have to preface with John Emery put himself in the situation to some extent. There were some mistakes he made. He fell behind in some things early in his academic career. But then it got, during 2020 is when a lot of, the issues really kind of came to the surface. And a lot was going on for him at the time. And that was a large part of Don Jackson and the Emery family's case for appeal, was the extreme hardship he was going through. His stepfather, Webster Garrison, was basically hospitalized and in a coma due to COVID for several months. That carried into last season, and honestly, he was still hospitalized again a few weeks ago. I mean, that's something that's still kind of going on with him for 2 years now, the health issues his stepfather's having. His grandmother died. Emery himself had COVID twice, and that was a large part of their case. And there are other things I can't quite mention, but they had a lot of, just due to his academic history, specifics with Emery, that they really, Jackson camp would say, this should be a slam dunk case. And Don Jackson's the guy who basically Christian Fulton case was, he got taken away. He's a kind of a guy that gets a lot of these things handled. And privately, he was like, this should be a slam dunk case. And a lot of stuff that is still hard to kind of understand kind of got blocked, whether it be from the LSU end, from the NCAA end, and a lot of things that seemed clear didn't go through. But, they did. They tried to do everything they could that summer. He took the maximum amount of classes and did well that summer, but apparently there's a limit on how many classes you could take in a summer. Oh. So he was still 3 credits shy. There's a rumor of the wrong class. I can't confirm that part, but yeah. So the whole thing was just a mess, and they felt like it was obvious that they would have gotten that appeal would have been successful, and it was not. So yeah, it's been just a wild case.
Do you know the status of that appeal right now and when they anticipate to hear any word back on what will this season look like?
Yeah, I've gathered probably in the next few days or week is kind of the sense I've gotten of when they'll probably know more. I won't pretend to know the actual status in terms of how they feel about it. I think LSU, as you know, is kind of preparing for him not to be there, while the Emery camp is certainly optimistic and hopeful that they can make something happen here. Just describing his case. But yeah, I won't speculate too much on kind of where it's at.
So how do you read into the first 3 weeks of camp and how they've divvied up the reps and what it means for the running back position with just the status that they're in right now?
Yeah, I think it's notable that, Noah Cain has been taking a lot of the first team reps, and, Frank Wilson's been really happy with him. Obviously, he's an experienced guy playing Power 5 football. And, I think there's a case for he's experienced, and, you can kind of trust him going into a big setting like this. I mean, Goodwin had plenty of experience last year, but, say hypothetically it's a tie, it would make a lot of sense to trust him. But yeah, as you said, John Emery, whenever it comes to kind of scrimmage things, Emery's always available, but he kind of goes maybe third or fourth for this reason. They've known for weeks this was coming, that, you had to prepare the other guys and make sure the team's ready to play with those other guys. Cain adds more of that power, kind of move the chains back, but Goodwin will see the field a lot as a very explosive guy, a guy who can make big plays, a guy who's really conducive to what they do. So I think both those guys will be the main ones. And do not rule out Josh Williams, a guy who's had some really good moments through spring and fall camp. A guy, again, reliability sometimes can be a buzzword, especially if, say, it's Jaden Daniels and you have some kind of dynamism going on at quarterback. Maybe that makes sense. So, yeah, I think Cain's clearly the first guy, but I think all 3 of those guys will play against Florida State a good bit.
Brody, outside of your reporting on this case alone, have you gotten a feeling of what the NCAA's presence is going to mean in college sports? I mean, like, isn't there almost a section of maybe even at LSU that's like, hey, man, forget the NCAA. Like, do we even have to listen to them on this stuff? What legs do they really have to stand on after the last 3 years of what has happened to that organization?
Yeah, certainly I won't pretend to know like how LSU views them or kind of, this case specifically. But yeah, there's no denying that the overall authority of the NCAA has been kind of weakened over the last few years, especially with the rise of super leagues and NIL and how poorly the NCAA handled that. That it's just been Mark Emmert obviously kind of on his way out. There's just been this slow but steady kind of loss in faith the little faith that existed in the NCAA, that yeah, there is speculation that maybe the NCAA won't even exist in a few years, or definitely not in the form it's in currently. I do think there is a lot of that. I won't pretend to know how
Sure.
LSU views it or anything like that, but yeah, it does make these situations tough. That it's kind of like you can a player basically is having a year and 2 games to spend about the NCAA while so much other stuff is kind of getting thrown to the wayside.
Another piece in that story that you broke yesterday was about Radarius Jones, a cornerback who provides depth and played 9 games for LSU last season. In your report, it stated that it looks like he's going to be out the regular season. What effect does that have on the football team, and what did you learn about his case before that story yesterday?
Yeah, I don't think I'd put it as they've known that one for a while.
Yeah.
And, so that's one where to listeners, I wouldn't let that change your view of how they've talked about the defensive back room for the last few weeks, how they've talked about how much of it's, and I'm not saying I buy this, but how it's almost a strength now at defensive back. That part, that's with them knowing Radarius Jones has been out. He's a guy who was always kind of all about raw potential. I mean, shoot, remember when he signed, but this coach was buzzing about his potential. That's still there, by the way. But I don't think he's a guy that was supposed to be, a key player this year, anything like that. I don't think he's quite put it together yet. So losing him certainly stinks when, you have the depth issues that have been well documented. You don't know who the clear backup outside corner is, things like that. That's concerning, but at the same time, they were well aware of this, so this isn't news to them. And with his case specifically, not a ton, but yes, it is, again, things that pre-existed, I'd say, the Kelly staff overall, things that were just kind of, he was obviously out for the bowl game, I believe, as well, because of academic issues. And, it's a carryover from just kind of how bad some of the academic situations were entering the season. I don't have the number, but I know there were 5, 6 maybe players, 7 in that bowl game that missed because of academics.
That's amazing. Because of just how hard it is at a school like LSU as a football player to be academically ineligible. Brody, if you and I were walk-ons, we would have 2.0s.
I couldn't even do it.
It is almost fail-proof in a sense when you are, and not just at LSU. Pick an SEC school, pick a Big 10, pick a Big 12 school. Any school that depends on their football program, it is hard, like really hard, to become academically ineligible as a player on the team.
No, it's true. Yeah, I'm not looking to dunk on a kid, but yeah, it's accurate that, when, as much as it is really hard being a student athlete, when you have so many obligations, there are so many excessive resources to making sure you are, taken care of academically. Advisors, support, just general. I don't want to go, so much help is provided to make sure
layers.
You are
protected.
Layers.
So,
layers.
Yes.
Layers.
This is why Brian Kelly left Notre Dame.
Exactly. It really is. There's probably a piece of it that just the academic standards, it's easier to get in.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Let my 5 stars play.
Yeah, right.
No, it's a really good point. So it is strange. And, so much of the last 2 years probably does factor into that. Just 2020, I think there were a lot of players who kind of, everything was virtual. And I think there was a stretch of just kind of like, do I need to go to class a little bit? Then last year, I'm sure, one, I think some blame does fall on the Ogeron regime in general for not having some of this stuff handled. But 2, I wonder how much when a coach gets fired and there's no clear structure, how much, and I'm speculating, but how much that really just leads to a lack of discipline or feeling like you need to be on top of something.
Brian Kelly said in his last media outing on Saturday inside Tiger Stadium that he hopes to have a choice here on quarterback pretty soon because they've got to start game planning. How do you like that competition? What do you expect on a timeline there?
Yeah, I think a decision probably will be made this week, and I'm not sure if that'll be out there, but hopefully one of us gets that out there. But yeah, I think the really telling thing from what he said Saturday was him acknowledging that hey, there's a good chance both these guys will play this year. Yeah. Sure, some of that is just politicking and making sure these guys are happy and keeping everyone in the mix. Totally, that's part of it. But it's also, as you and I have talked about extensively, that's also a lot of his history is playing 2 quarterbacks. Not necessarily a 2-quarterback system, but being game to game to some extent, figuring out who the guy is, and not being afraid to bench a guy when he's struggling. Because there has been this kind of half-baked theory throughout camp that is with information and isn't, that Jaden Daniels might be the opening day starter. A lot of us are leaning toward that right now. They trust him to manage the offense. They love his mobility. I'm not saying I'm reporting that, but it just kind of seems like it's slowly inching that way. But there's also this belief that it's like, hey, it would make a lot of sense if he starts early, he's experienced, but it's a short leash. And Garrett Nussmeier totally could see the field by SEC play or something.
Yeah,
so I'm not reporting, but yeah, I think Daniels has a leg up right now just because of, again, the management part of it. I think that's to a lot of extent, but it's not over.
No, I agree with you. If there was an option on the test to choose that choice, that's the one I would pick. That it would be Daniels early on, short leash, Nussmeier. Yeah, it's almost a matter of time before you get to him. Outside of that position, Brody, and I'll get you out of here on this one. I know you got a busy day. What else are you watching right now? And what's the story outside of the quarterback, Emery, and the stuff that's going on off the field? Where are you looking to next here as they really start to begin preparation for Florida State?
I think to some extent, I think some of the big question marks are slowly starting to feel more comfortable. I think corner, I was in panic mode. And by the way, to some extent, I still against the Patriot. I think I ranked that higher than the O-line now. I have concerns. But still, I think the Colby Richardson thing isn't worth yada yada. He does look like a good football player. That does add nice depth there. I'm just intrigued, I think, by, on Thursday, I believe it was Thursday, right? Scrimmage, I think you saw the corners get beat a good bit. And, Bernard Converse, they rave about him. He's a guy they trust. So I think you feel good about that. But, I also don't know if he's going in there to be some game changer. Sevyn Banks is still kind of slowly progressing, but he's not quite like 100%. Like the games are in 2 weeks. And you saw Sevyn Banks get beat a time or two. And again, I'm not judging scrimmage too harshly, but it's not like you have any sure things there. You don't love your depth there. So I think that's still always going to be the top one. But just also, the O-line battle, of course, because I am so intrigued by them moving those pieces around. It does make a lot of sense what they're trying right now, just trying different things of moving Miles Frazier from right guard to left guard and sliding Anthony Bradford into right guard and then getting Cam Wire some reps at right tackle. That makes a lot of sense, but what that also does is it gives you a few different templates so that, hey, maybe you do prefer the Bradford Frazier right side more and Shorts back to left guard, but you have different things you can do because what they're really trying to do is get 7 or 8 starters there that they can always plug in. But the other, man, is just, I think you and I are still on it, but I think we talked Thursday morning or Wednesday morning about being on the Malik Neighbors hype train. Yeah. And then I left that scrimmage just I'm really on it. I think Malik Neighbors is the guy that Butte is still the number one, but he's going to get all the attention too. So I think Malik Neighbors really be the guy to put money on to have the breakout years.
Great work over the weekend, man. Keep it up. Thanks for the time this morning, and we'll see you soon.
Thank you, Jordy. Appreciate it, man.
Brody Miller, there he is from The Athletic. Get your subscription today as football season is here. Make sure you follow our guy on Twitter at Brody A. Miller for breaking news like he was putting out over the weekend. Daily, remember, we are brought to you by our friend over at Edward Jones, Daniel Newman. Daniel.Newman at edwardjones.com was over in Central yesterday. Central is exploding, man. I mean, there is construction.
Oh, that's the Noah Tingle effect.
Everywhere. But if you are looking for some help with financial advice, go see Daniel Newman. He's at Market Square Market Square Drive over there in Central Louisiana to help you with all of your financial needs, all of your financial questions. If you have and work within the industrial space, they can help you out with anything that you may have, any questions that you may have about life after work or investments to make maybe with what's going on, 401k, Social Security, anything that's happening in and around your financial security. You can talk to Daniel Newman about it. Daniel.Newman at edwardjones.com. Daniel.Newman at edwardjones.com. Colby Richardson, who has been one of the stories of this LSU fall football camp, is going to be through the studio here. Speaking of Noah Tingle, we've got Noah on the boots on the ground here. Offered up Colby a little ride here to the studio. Needed a ride to the studio, so we're going to get him to and from the FM Digital Studios over here.
Just want to ride with me?
I thought about it, but I mean, I put the text out to our group. Everybody's in class this morning.
Yeah.
I mean, I figured we'd have one that could skip on the first day. A lot of first day goers here.
Yeah. Maybe I didn't do as good a job as I thought of grooming grooming my children. I thought we'd all have a bunch of syllabus days. Everybody would be here.
Sure.
I imagine if I know Stewie the way I think I know Stewie.
Especially with an option on the plate to take off.
Yeah, you got work.
I mean, so we will talk to Colby Richardson here coming up here in a couple of minutes. What did Brian Kelly call him?
I don't know. Cody?
Not
his name.
Cody Dickerson.
Cody Dickerson.
Cody Dickerson.
Hell of a player.
Cody Dickerson.
It's Colby Richardson, and he's good. I was at the scrimmage on Saturday. I saw him. He flashed.
He was.
He's good.
All right, we'll be back here with more of the Jordy Culotta Show, driven and powered by Go Chevrolet.
Get out of school. Cut class. What's happening?
In a wreck, Gordon McKernan Injury Attorneys is ready to go to work for you. Come meet your team.
I'm your intake specialist. I coordinate your case and connect you with your attorney and paralegal.
That's us, your legal team.
Thanks.
And we'll fight to get you every dollar you deserve.
I'm your settlements and disbursement manager, and I'm here to get you paid on time.
I'm attorney Gordon McKernan. Put our team to work today. Just call us. Get it done.
Sports with it.
It's just like anything else. I mean, I don't want to get into hyperbole, but it's, everything is. I mean, frankly, I'm still worried more about concussions. We don't talk about it much anymore, but, we've kind of helped solve it in a lot of ways and make the game a lot safer. So anytime we have existential threats, which this one could or could not be, we just deal with it, and we will deal with it. It's just part of the game. And, I don't mind a lot of what's come out of this movement of doing more for the student athletes, but like anything else, it boomerangs a little too far, and you got to swing it back into, hey, what we do for the student athletes, and it's a hell of a lot, and I'm proud of that fact that we are leaders in doing that, but we're going to do it right. The Tiger Athletic Foundation and in partnership, obviously, hand in hand with what we do, funded a master plan study because I wanted to see, hey, what we needed, and I just didn't want my opinion. I've been a few places, and I have a good one, I think, but you just want to see how and what our needs are, and so we're in that process of looking at it, and obviously the PMAC is 50 years old this year, and probably needs some updating. It's got good bones, and maybe we can see what we can do with that. Same thing with all that property that we have both down Nicholson and where we are currently on Nicholson and North Stadium. Is that, hey, is this the proper use and best use for that? And hand in hand with the university and what we do with TAF. We'll make those decisions, and we'll be prudent and thinking about what and how we do. Yeah,
We love the crew over at Fresh Chef Kitchen. Chef Shane and his crew dropping off the meals every Monday here to FM Digital Media, whether it's breakfast, lunch, dinner. Me or the crew's going through our meals over at Fresh Chef Kitchen. Their weekly pre-order freshly made meals, or you can walk into the cooler over there on Airline Highway. They have that fresh, same service over there at Fresh Chef Eats. FreshChefEats.com is where you can find them online. Fresh Chef Kitchen. Tell them you heard it right here on the Jordy Culotta Show. All right, welcome back here to the Jordy Culotta Show, driven and powered by Go Chevrolet, as we talk to Brody Miller here on this Monday morning. Miller, of course, with the breaking article and breaking news over at The Athletic over the weekend that John Emery going to be suspended the first 2 games of the season, and Radarius Jones out for the regular season with academic concerns. The Carpool Queen is here, bug-eyed, looks pale as the first day of traffic has her very freaked out, very chaotic here on this Monday. This is a bad day for the city.
It wasn't as bad getting
here
as I thought. Come on in. It wasn't as bad as I thought, though, coming to work. It was, woke up extra early. Thinking, I was like, oh, no, today's the day. I kind of put it in my brain. Stewie, thank God he texted me last night. He's like, remember I have class? I was like, oh, you're still doing that stuff? And so to have him, I thought, I was like, all right, I'll get here early. I'll hit on the road. But it wasn't bad. So, but you ran into the traffic?
Yeah, I mean, I'm coming out from 12. I mean, so it was before the split. I mean, I was stopped at Drusilla and Jefferson, and I was like, oh, my God, I'm never going to get there. But then after the split, it kind of opened up. You know how she rolls.
First day of college classes for LSU, not cool.
Why does that make the whole city traffic horrible?
Because people come in from all over.
I guess so. God, I don't think about it.
So
but
many
it's a
more
lot.
people on the road. You forget like people that commute in.
Yeah, I do
to
forget about
school,
those people.
You know, I mean that's
miserable. I can't imagine doing that.
Classes start today, right?
Classes are today. It's syllabus day, right? And this is the first day of, like, you go, but you don't have to go. It's you mosey around on campus. I always thought
it was kind of like a built-in skip day.
That's what I do. Yeah, I mean, we're, too.
I don't know.
I mean,
especially with everything online now.
But bid day was yesterday, and a lot of people were already there and like ready to go, and they have to go to class.
I don't know, man.
They make them.
First day's it's a great day to see everyone.
Right.
You know what I mean?
But
like,
you don't go to like class. You
What?
go to like
No.
you go to campus.
Yes, you
you
do.
go hang in the
Stop.
quad.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
You don't go to class.
No, we had.
You also shove all your papers in your backpack with no folder.
That's right. You can make it in any which way you want to do it. There's a million ways to run to run a race.
Still got the. I still got the degree.
Still here.
Yeah.
I got
still
so
doing exactly what I want to
many
do.
DMs from that post last night. Like, I mean, I couldn't even respond to them all. People responded, "I'm fine. I'm doing well. I'm all good."
Ooh.
I'm okay.
I'm like, okay, my bad. I guess y'all are fine.
Defensive.
I was the
The
nerd.
defensive C students.
See, but I think what everybody does is everybody starts off with good intentions. Like I used to have I would have folders for the class or like a binder or whatever.
No doubt.
And you would start like, all right, I'm about to fucking crush this semester. I'm organized. I'm ready. And then like 2 days in, they're like, how many pieces of paper are you gonna give me? Like,
Right.
what class am I?
You have
even
a hole
in?
punch?
Yeah, yeah. Oh, the kids with the binder. Where are y'all? Like, what country
I'm
are
right
you?
here.
Yeah, okay. That's exactly.
I mean, binder,
Running
like
media
dividers,
agencies.
label
Yeah.
dividers.
Thank
I mean,
God
come
for y'all.
on.
Yeah.
We can't exist
guess.
without people like you.
No way.
Because
way.
then you just
way.
become like, I don't even know where my book sack is,
Yeah,
dude.
right.
Like, why am I here?
Do you have a pen?
Yeah. Anybody got a Scantron for Ryan Mallett?
I guess that
I
makes
just wanted
sense.
to show off my first day shoes.
Yeah, I just wanted to see look around the classroom, see
I
if
think
it's
I'm
worth coming back.
I'm the only person in this building, I think, who used a folder. Everyone responded to me like, and from here. Like, I'm
for
good.
sure. I mean, I'm trying to think of anybody.
I guess
in
that's
here
why
that
I'm here.
would have a folder.
You know it's not
That's
me.
why I'm here
No,
with y'all.
No.
No, I tried. Like I said, I tried.
Maybe Jamil?
Maybe Jamel. I was thinking that too. Maybe.
Maybe?
Jamel.
Maybe.
Watch
Noah.
Watch Ron. Oh no. Oh no. Wait. Noah did say he was not a folder guy, and then once he got to high school, he changed and became a not
Folder
messy
guy?
paper guy. Yeah. He did say that.
I think he's just so smart it doesn't matter. Like
doesn't
he
matter.
could get away with the shove the papers in the book
could.
sack, but he's so
He
disciplined.
doesn't need the papers.
Doesn't need them. You got a photographic memory.
Really?
We went through the lineup Friday of all the LSU players, and he like rattled off every one of them. He's like, I looked at it earlier today, and I was like,
Don't you wish you had
have
that?
Do
your
we all
brain.
have photographic memories about things that we care about?
What do you mean?
yeah. I mean,
Like, I
there's
mean,
this-
I could tell you like downs and distances and plays of games that I like obsessed over growing up. I can recite lines of some of my favorite movies. You put me in front of the original Top Gun right now, and I won't
know
miss
that
I
about
won't
you.
miss a beat.
But I write a note and put it on your desk, and like Jesus, I mean, you're asking me 5
Not that
times during the
passionate.
week,
You
and
know what I
yeah,
mean?
I mean,
Not my passion. It doesn't burn me inside. It didn't get me when I was
I wasn't
reading the
listening.
sticky note. You
or
know
on
what
your
I mean?
calendar, even on your phone, and you schedule something like Jordy,
Right.
open your calendar. It's
But I've
right
gotten
there.
very much better about my calendar.
You have.
There's nothing
You got
worse
better.
than the calendar. I'm so
I
bad
don't even
about
fool
it.
with
How
using
did
a calendar.
we live before the digital calendar? Like,
Well, Lloyd's
wrote
still
it
living,
down,
so
yeah.
what do you mean?
yeah, but I mean, no. Like, how did we even like? I understand how he's gotten slothed his way to 30.
just failing forward.
Yeah, right.
I'll take
just
Lloyd with you.
Slept to 31 years old and woke up with a job here running a podcast at a digital media company. Right?
Deleted it, brought it back.
You are.
The loser.
But I mean, like,
We wrote it down.
how
I still
did
write it
people
down also.
exist? You still go
I
by a
still have-
handwritten calendar.
I still have my digital calendar in
Wow,
my phone that I
Katie.
can't live without, but I write every week. I write a list and like a daily thing of what I have to do so I can see it and cross it off.
Could
I have
Apple
to.
make it a little bit easier to use the calendar? It's such a task. You have to do 14 things
It
to
is
be like
not.
set a
I think that the
reminder.
updates made it easier.
It's not hard.
I think that the
You can do it.
updates have made it
See,
easier.
I'm a
what
big-
I think what confuses Apple or did is when you put multiple calendars in there, and then there's a lot of crossover, and the
Colors.
invite.
That, though. I've got
The
different
invite
colors.
used to be a cluster.
Yes.
Yeah. All you have to do
Um,
is accept it, though.
And then
Looking
what?
at y'all. I looked through my calendar this week of some stuff I scheduled and looked to see who had accepted it and who hadn't. It's just like question mark.
Send the important stuff to the
Yeah,
FM one.
You got a couple pending out there. You got a couple
Really?
pending, yeah.
Shit.
You do.
I'm using my FM one.
You do.
If there's something important, send it to that one.
Gotcha.
The Lloyd at Jordy Culotta show is a disaster. I folded it. It's
I don't even
That's
wanna
Well, no,
my.
I mean, really,
Lloyd, come
that would be
on.
on us because we have encouraged to
And then we have Slack.
accept the FM accounts. I'm going here and accepting my
Yeah, here we go.
inboxes.
Y'all,
Look,
y'all
it's
give me
top
so
of
much
mind.
anxiety.
But see, I'm a big reminders guy. I feel like the phone works better for the reminder as opposed because it'll tell you the exact time at that day, or you can set it the day before.
It does. You're right.
In the calendar, it's like you have to go through 3 levels of protection. Like, remind me of this on like before it happens, not day of, weekly, whatever.
Yeah.
Like, let me know, be what it's supposed to be. Like, remind me an hour before.
Right.
And it makes it so hard to do that. It's like, do you want a daily reminder or a yearly reminder? I was like,
I
just
go
wanna
with the
be,
double.
Yeah,
Double
absolutely.
reminder?
I
go with the
time
double
of event,
yeah.
and then
But I'll
Yeah,
almost
you
like
have
give
to.
myself like a 2-day reminder as the
that
first
I'll
alert,
forget.
and then like kind of like to bring back to my head like, oh yeah, I got to do that,
That's what I do.
and then like an hour before, like stun me, be like, oh shit, I forgot about that.
I gotta go.
I got to be in Donaldsonville at 10 o'clock this morning.
Do y'all ever get like a text from someone though, and it's like
Oh, that's
telling
the
you or
worst.
asking you to do something, but then your phone sets up a reminder
That's the
based
best.
on that?
Why doesn't it do
But
it
sometimes it
more?
can get weird. It's like later we're
Is
gonna
there any text? Is there
tonight
any
we're
text
gonna.
worse?
It's like tonight.
Is the
Remember,
text
David
worse
said.
than where are you?
God, don't
Burn
put
the
that on my
stage.
calendar.
Is the worst text in professional life? Where are you?
Oh yeah.
When you look at it, you're like,
What do you mean, like
oh shit.
like me saying to you, "Where are you?" Because
Just
I'm
like
sitting
when
in a
you're
meeting.
supposed to be
Like,
somewhere,
yeah,
and you're
it
like
is.
sitting in the chair, and you're supposed to be in,
Yeah,
Where
that'll
are you?
make,
Where
that'll
are
make
you?
your heart
Right.
like go up in your throat.
Yeah, I'm 10 away. It's like 10 away from what? What about?
yeah.
Leaving my chair.
Right. I'm jumping in the shower.
Yeah. When I see, I talked about this last night with Rebecca. It's like when I say I'm going to be there at 6:30, that means I'm leaving at 6:30. Like that's me. Like all right, but everybody knows
man,
that
don't
about
kill
me
me.
now. I'm never early. Like
We do
I
know.
have a crippling disability when it comes to be like, should I be 10 minutes early or 10 minutes late? I err on. I'm just gonna sit. It's my ADHD.
Yeah,
And like I have
it
to be
is.
perfectly on time. I don't want to be early to anything because who's early?
My dad was a Marine,
Coughlin.
so I was left
Yeah, I don't wanna
behind
be
if
on
I
Coughlin
wasn't out
time.
there. I mean,
I'm on Jared
he didn't
Mitchell,
wait.
too.
Wow.
I mean, it's like I could be drying my hair, and he's like, "We're at 2 minutes," and I mean, he's gone. Like there's
I
no
respect
playing,
people like that though.
no playing
Oh,
around
well,
with a
the
Marine.
people that you know are like that. You have to. We're at odds, but you have to know
Yeah.
that they're gonna do their thing.
Yeah.
We're not riding together.
Yeah.
I'll catch you.
It's a great learning lesson.
Have you ever left a girl though? Like
What do you mean?
not a daughter, but like left a date or a girlfriend?
Because of timing?
Yeah, like she wasn't ready on time and you freaking leave her. You've done that?
Rebecca,
That is
for,
a dick move.
no LSU football
Oh.
games. No, we
Is it
are.
really?
I'll
Is
stay.
Is it really?
What do you mean?
For
But
you to say
Why don't you have any accountability of
Right.
charging and
We
and
knew- we
Okay,
told
let me
everybody to
just
be
preface
late?
this. Like, I'm never late, and I don't take a long time to get ready. But I have had friends whose boyfriends and husbands have left them at home. Like,
I
said, we're
doubt
getting in the
that
car.
was the first time
No, it
Right.
probably
that they
wasn't.
talked about that this is an issue.
But, like, what are you going to do? You're going to leave your girlfriend behind, and you're going to go to the party or the event, and then she's pissed, and so you're the
That'll
night's
probably work out to
over.
be a good night for you when she shows up.
And it's not.
Exactly.
It's not that. I say I've done it. I've threatened to do it. I've never done it. Because,
Just cut a lap around the neighborhood.
Right. Exactly.
You know what I mean?
Because.
See the
you
car
set
not in the
yourself up,
driveway.
the rest of the day is fucked after you do that. Like if you're
Yeah,
dating
it
them, and
is.
then it's like, oh, well, is she going to show up? And it's
Exactly.
like,
So
oh,
why
hey.
do it? It's such
Exactly.
a dick
we're
move.
powerless in that regard. But there's times when it's like,
Pride.
yes.
Yeah.
But you also have to, like your dad, like it's almost like a lesson at some point. Like,
Yeah.
look, dude, I will do this. And
Yeah.
then they start respecting time a little bit.
Well,
It's
I'm
a
early now
relationships
for
game,
most things
right.
because of that. So, yeah.
But the
I
LSU
still
football
see my
tailgates-
Uncle Mark when I was about 7 or 8 years old. We were leaving McDonald's on the corner of College Drive and Perkins right there, and we were coming off of the backside of it and taking a right onto College Drive to go back home. And I was sitting in the back seat, and he reached back there and grabbed for some fries that he just bought me out of a Happy Meal, and I kind of clutched them. You know what I mean? Kind of like protected him, and he reached back there, grabbed the bag, and threw it
No, he
onto
did
College
not.
Drive.
No, he did not.
Nobody gets
And still to this day, I share all my fries with everybody.
kidding.
Not at all. We'll be back with more of the Jordy Culotta Show, driven and powered by Go Chevrolet. What a
What a
dick.
scarring
What a
memory.
dick.
What a move.
Okay, now nobody's happy. Did somebody get this kid a Happy Meal?
Oh my God.
Red Stick Sports, a local staple in Baton Rouge to all sports fans, was founded back in 1981 and has remained a family business for over 40 years. Today, they still have the great selection on the floor, but they're also a leader in custom apparel for businesses, sports teams, and other groups. Take it from us, everybody over here at FM Digital Media. They help us out with all of our apparel. Let them help you out today. Go ask for Cody over at Red Stick Sports. Check him out online at redsticksports.biz. Best athlete to come out of New Iberia, Mark Roman?
Kayshawn Booter.
Kayshawn? Wow.
Right now, Kayshawn, Mark was a little bit before me. I was a ball boy. When Mark was playing at New Iberia Senior High School, I played like right after Mark. But Kayshawn just has done some things, and just the things that you guys are seeing Kayshawn do, that he's not even scratching the surface of what we saw on a day-to-day basis at practice. He's unreal. He's unreal.
He's so natural. It's so so easy. It looks so easy to him.
Yes, it's so easy, and there's never been another a competitor I've ever seen like Kayshawn. Kayshawn would not lose going to eat pregame meal. He has to be the first. He is the ultimate competitor. He would not lose. So trust me, he will be ready.
Well, it's interesting you mentioned Brandon Harrison. I obviously, took in part of what you were saying, and he's doing great at Texas, and he's a big reason why Texas is in the mix or has commitments from so many elite guys from Louisiana right now. Lance Hurd did not show up for his Texas official visit, which is probably the most interesting tidbit I can share with you. He did make it to Nebraska, and then he worked out at LSU, and he ended up staying for an unofficial visit for the entire weekend of LSU's elite camp. Right now, I already have an RPM for LSU. I think my colleague Billy does as well. And right now, it's all LSU. Brad Davis has always had the in with LSU. And you talked about him before. Mike Denbrock has spent a lot of time with Lance Hurd, talking about him being a franchise left tackle playing opposite of Will. And right now, I'd say it's a matter of if, not when Lance Hurd commits to LSU. Texas is certainly in it. They have been in it for a good amount of time. Bo Davis was leading that recruitment. But since Lance has kind of settled on the offensive side of the ball, sees his future at tackle, I think LSU has been the team to beat since they finally got him on campus in June. Hey, I really like this kid. I'm not going to talk about the on-3 rankings as being underrated, but he's a kid that I think by the end of his senior season is going to have a stock up. I got to see him out in Las Vegas a couple of months ago, and he's about 6'2", 180 plus pounds. He moves really naturally. I think he's a little bit raw, and I think he needs a little bit of coaching. Develop, see if he can get his hips out a little bit better. He's got a little bit to go, but physically he stands out. I think he plays receiver and DB for Bishop Gorman, one of the top powerhouses in the high school level in the country. He plays on the same team as Zachariah Branch and gets to defend him every single day. So I think he's going to get better, and he's going to go to LSU and continue to develop. I think he's a little bit raw at this stage. Maybe he's a little bit underrated, but he's someone that, going to work with Robert Steeples and be a big corner, work on the boundary. And that's an area of need for LSU in this 2023 cycle.
All right, welcome back here to the Jordy Culotta Show, driven and powered by Go Chevrolet, live here on this Monday morning. Make sure you hit that like button, share button, comment button. We appreciate you getting us moving here on YouTube and in the digital analytics world, as we have been talking a lot about LSU football, obviously gearing up towards Florida State in the opener, going to the Caesars Superdome that will open up between LSU, Florida State on Labor Day weekend. That'll be a big game for a lot of fans. That'll be a lot of LSU players, obviously. Brian Kelly making his debut. But I can't imagine how big of a night that's going to be for graduate transfer cornerback Colby Richardson, who is looking like he's going to be starting at cornerback in his hometown for LSU as a fifth-year college football player. And we welcome him in to the conversation here this morning at FM Digital Studios. It's great to see you, Colby. Thank you, man. Good morning. Absolutely, man. We've asked everybody who's gotten here, whether it's been a new coach, whether it's been a player, everybody that's come through here, because there's so many new faces. How'd you end up at LSU?
I say, first of all, I prayed about it. because I was first committed to Colorado State like 2 weeks prior to my graduation. So what happened was I went out there to visit, and the scenery, everything was good, but, the football atmosphere wasn't there for me. So having a chance to come back home, reconsider everything, then getting a call from Coach Frank was the obvious of me having a chance to come in here. So once I knew when he called, I knew kind of how things was going to come out and play out because they was already recruiting me.
Mm-hmm.
So just getting that call would actually change my mind, and knowing that I could go back home and play for a great fan base that really, show a lot of great things out there in that valley. So that's what just my biggest thing was, coming back home. Coming back home for my last year. Really.
Absolutely. Where was your relationship with LSU leaving high school, McMain High School?
It was good, but I had a good relationship with Coach DeLuca at the time. I guess he was the running back coach during that time. And he actually told me to come to camp for receiver one time. So, that was kind of where I was trying to go towards. But, my coach had seen other things in me, which was the defensive side of the ball. So he actually told me, if you want to go to the league and actually be a part of this league, you got to play defense. You got to do it because you got the talent. Everybody can play receiver, but everybody can't play corner at your size.
Mm-hmm.
So, that was the relationship. We just had like an offensive relationship, really didn't have like a defensive relationship because I went there for the camp as defense and a cornerback, and I didn't really get the eyes that I normally would get right now. So, that was the relationship back then.
What was Frank Wilson like as a head coach?
He was a great influence, man. He taught me a lot as a young man, knowing my story. So teaching me throughout that process how to overcome the adversity that I was dealing with during that time. So, he's a great man. He makes sure he helps you out. He makes sure he looks out for you. If he tell you he got you, he got you. So that's what kind of man he is. And he's a trustworthy man that you can put your trust into.
When he called you, when he was here at LSU, and you talked to him, was it over? Were you coming to LSU?
I told him I actually was going to pray about it because, I was kind of overwhelmed knowing that, I was going in a system where it was not established, but it was on the verge of being established. And knowing that the guys that was here already, it was kind of like shifting me. But, I prayed about it, put my pride to the side and started to think more of the great things that will come out of here if you do what you got to do and come on top. So after I felt comfortable with that, that what made me go ahead and call him back and be like, okay, let's get this thing rolling.
Wow. What's your relationship like with Brian Kelly? What was that? How was that established?
It's good. We talk, we have our little giggles here and there, but I'm one of them people that try to stay off the coach's radar. So it's like I try to do all my great things and, keep a great relationship with him by just doing all the great things, really. I don't really look for a coach to, like, try to talk to me every time, because I look at it, if a coach talking to you, you doing something that's supposed to be your job, it's out of negative. So when a coach not talking to you, you doing your job, that means you're doing something good. So I like the relationship like that.
So it must have been a compliment when he called you Cody Dickerson.
It was kind of funny at first. It was funny at first, but I just let him have it because I wasn't too sure. Like I'm a newcomer. It's a media. He probably nervous. It's a lot of things going in people's heads. So I really ain't take it as personal. I just laughed at it, and me and him laugh at it a lot. So it's just a little funny thing that just came upon.
Do they call you Cody now?
Nah, they don't. Nobody calls me Cody.
I will say this. The first report that I got from LSU practice, the first name that somebody told me was Colby Richardson's going to play, and he might start versus Florida State was what the guy told me. And ever since that day, your name has just been almost a constant, and then it got to a point where Kelly said it. He mentioned it twice. He mentioned Dickerson. He said Dickerson the second time. But, I mean, it's obvious that you made a big impact from the top down. What has been your motivation since you've been here? How have you put yourself in this position where it feels like you're going to be the number one cornerback?
I think it just go ways back to when I was 4. I've been having this mindset since I was 4. That's when I first started playing football. Now I'm 24, so that's 20 years of my life.
You're 24.
So, having that in mind, like, man, you came a long way. This always been your dream. You only got 6 months at it. So you're going to do everything you want to do to ought to be on top if you love what you do, and that's play football. And I've been doing this since I was 4, so it's like it's something I love. And then it's somewhere that I want to really be, that I really seen myself to be when I was a kid. So actually having that chance and opportunity, you take advantage of it. So I just try to take advantage of every opportunity I get. And if I'm with the 2s, I'm with the 1s. If I got to go ahead and get a couple 2 reps, it don't matter where I'm at. Special teams, like, you got to take advantage of it because it's something you love to do. So that's my mindset of everything, and that's how I approach my day. It's like I got to come here and do my job for something I love to do. So that's the way I'm taking this season. That's the way I'm taking and going away about myself.
What a great mindset, man. Kids, if you're watching this, that's some powerful stuff to put yourself in a position like Colby finds himself right now. The first rep that I saw when they opened up the media and allowed us in was Colby Richardson versus Keyshawn Butte.
Yeah.
You guys go up in the corner of the end zone. Both of you come down to the ground. I mean, it was a big physical rep, but he didn't get the catch. What's it like going up against players like him and having that opportunity to battle a guy like him in one-on-ones?
Oh, man, he's the best guy in the country. So, you going against him, it's like you going against the Biletnikoff Award winner. So it's like just going against him, I know he will make my game better. I know he will push me to my limits and make me uncomfortable. So having that chance to go against him every day could give me the confidence to going against any other receiver in this country. No one would be as like him. No one would be as shifty as him because he's labeled as the best right now. So getting that opportunity to go out there and have some lockdown moments against him definitely boosts my confidence up when going against other guys.
Wow. What did they tell you, LSU, the staff, that they wanted from you to get to this point? It seems like that you have kind of understood what they want from you, and you've kind of checked off some boxes here. What do they want from you?
It was just the standard that they been preaching and been established when they first got there, that whole staff. That just come in and do your job, really. So got in there, I know I was like 167, but I knew I had to gain weight to all to physically play. But it was just really just being myself, just being myself because they knew of the talent that they seen off of my film back at McNeese, and they seen the attitude, they see how I played the game. They just wanted me to be myself, really, and just go there every day with a mindset of just trying to be the best version of you every day. And another day, you just got to be the best version of you from the last past day. So it's just, just being yourself and just playing football and just, just living a dream. You say it's a dream of yours, just live it and do all the best you can.
You are not 167 now.
No,
Where are you playing? Where's your weight at?
I stepped on a scale yesterday. I was 197.
197.
So, I'm 3 pounds away from being 200.
Where do you want to play at?
I say about the 195-ish, 200 range. So
what's the secret?
It's just really just attacking it every day. Setting a goal for yourself in life and just attacking it. And it's just called hard work. Really, it's something you got to do when nobody else doing. You got to just go ahead and work at dark. Sometimes I be up Saturday mornings, Sunday mornings. Some days where people will be resting. You just got to take the opportunity to try to better yourself in some category of your phase.
Absolutely. What's it like working with Jake Flint and the nutrition staff? I'd imagine that type of resource for what you want to do.
Yeah, they're amazing. Without them, I wouldn't be able to achieve and get to this point. Because when I got in the portal back in February, I was working out and everything, but I ain't had the resources like these guys had. So having a chance to get into the scientific of the world of this, it's kind of helped me out big, asking them questions of, the nutrition people. It's like, Coach Franks and his staff, just asking them what it takes for me to get where I need to get. I'm trying to get all lean muscle. I'm not trying to have fat. So they told me, they gave me a direct plan, and Coach Flint gave me a direct plan of what I got to do and how I got to attack every day. I just took what they told me and just ran off with it every day. So you just got to ask questions in life, and ask questions of what is pertaining to you, to your goal, and that's the only way you're going to really get to where you want to be and achieve it.
You starving for it, huh?
Yeah.
You starving for it, bro. What's Matt House and Robert Steeples like in playing in that scheme?
They great, man. I enjoy my relationship with both guys. They both have that nice grit behind them that they really want to see you succeed, and they have that really want to try to better you as a person off the field. They there for you off the field first. And on the field, they just, they're more like, I say more like a mentor. Like they're trying to get you to where you want to be in life. You say you want to be the best, they're going to push you to your limits. And having them in my corner to push me to my limits, to push other guys to their limits is definitely going to make this whole staff, whole team come together, which is, the defensive side of it, come together, which is DBU, what they're trying to bring back. So they bring their attitude every day, and they bring their attitude off the field when they know, like, okay, if you need someone to talk to, I'm here. Mm-hmm. So just having that good bond and good relationship with them, kind of helped me throughout my journey here too.
Did it help you coming into this locker room in particular because there's so many transfers? I mean, I even look at your position group, and the top four guys, it seemed like, are you, Makai, Seven, Jarick. I mean, all those guys all of you have transferred in. What is this locker room like with so many guys that have come in with experience and from outside programs?
It's different. It's different talents. I say we all shine at different times, and we all got different traits that we could give and pass it all to another. And we all smart. I say, intelligent-wise. So, we all work collectively to try to bring that group into DBU. We all come from different type of energies we bring to the field. So it's just a working energy ball that we trying to make establish to one big ball. And it's coming together. And I say before Florida State game, we don't have 4 corners out there to rotate and to go out there and lock people down. So I'm excited about this group. We laugh a lot. We have a lot of funny moments throughout that group. That whole group itself is a genuine group. So not just the 4 guys that are just the main standouts. You got Ray, you got Pop Smoke, you got Demarius, you got the freshmen coming in there, you got Ralph. So everybody in that group, no matter just us 4, we all come there with some type of energy to try to bring DBU back. So that's how I say the energy in that room and how we all come together as a group.
Did I catch a Pot Smoke in there? Nickname?
Pop Smoke. That's my guy Everin, man. That's
Who is
my
that?
Guy, Everin.
Everett. Oh, okay, nice.
That's how we got a couple nicknames in there.
Okay,
so.
okay, all right. Speaking of DBU, Tyrann Mathieu came back and addressed the program. Spent a week with the program. What was that like for you? I know it's a guy that you share a hometown with. So what was it like to get him and see him in that setting?
I wasn't here when Tyrann came, but just having him, knowing of him and having relationships with him and his family members, it kind of give me that you could do it. Kind of this guy come from where you come from. We born and raised in the same neighborhood, and my brothers grew up with him when he was little. So just having that guy who already did it from where you from kind of give you a good advantage of, okay, if he did it.
That's the blueprint.
He basically gave you the blueprint. So like you said, so just having that blueprint, just knowing that somebody made it from where you made it from, you could do the same. So it just gives you that confidence in what you want to bring into your life is the inspiration part of it. So he inspired me a lot to keep going and just trying to level out and trying to beat the odds.
How have these scrimmages been for you?
They've been fun. Having a chance to play football again, being out, not having a chance to do spring, it's fun. You getting out there, you with the guys, you with genuine people who love to play the game of football, people who want to make it to different stages in their life. So being out there with them guys is fun. Yeah, it get dirty, yeah, it get slimy a little, but when iron sharper iron, ain't gonna be pretty. But at the end of the day, just having a chance to go out there and work with them guys and get better, man, it's just been a amazing time there. So I've been having fun.
What's the relationship like between the front four? It seems like those guys, the defensive line seems to be maybe one of the most talented groups in the country when you look at it as a whole. As a DB, I know that relationship very much works together, right?
Yeah, I've been around some great defensive lines throughout my college life. So this is the first defensive line I say it's just like incredible. Like you can't stop it. You got two guys, BJ and Ali, rushing off the edge. You got J-Raw and Mason coming up between the interior. So having them four rushing at you, you're going to have a long day. And then having a chance to have four good DBs and two great safeties back there, four great safeties that could just come and rotate back there, and having two great nickels. I mean, you have a whole defensive whole with a lot of talent. So just having them four down there, it's just going to make a lot of people have to reconsider of what they really want to do game plan-wise. If they trying to attack us throughout the air, how you going to attack us if you got four guys coming at you? That's impossible to stop. So having them guys there, man, it's amazing. It's a really an honor and a blessing to have them four sitting on that defensive line.
Yeah, it should be a bunch of balls flying around that y'all can make some plays on.
Yeah.
And it also looks like y'all as a team are in a spot, and I'm not asking you for anything as far as information goes on who's going to play, but at least the quarterback everybody trusts, wherever you go. I mean, Kelly said on Saturday it's going to be a two-horse race between Daniels and Nussmeier, but it feels like whoever gets the nod, they're both going to play and you can win at this level with them.
All right, yeah, I say the same. I mean, I like both of the guys, really, and then what they bring and how they carry themselves. The energy they bring towards the offense and the way they trying to establish this offense and make plays. I love the way how they both carry themselves and, mentally wise too. These two guys that, that really, really want to make it and really want to put on for the team. So they're going to give it all and give their best, really. So just having them two and having one of them, they both could run. You look at them, so they both dangerous in so many ways. So it's like it's an honor and a blessing to have them too. So no matter what happens, you have two great quarterbacks back there that could go out there and make some plays for you on the offense.
Does the defense perk up a little bit when Jaden gets in, when Fav gets in, because of how he's a home run hitter?
Yeah, I mean, when they both get in, really, they both could move. So they both have, I would call, sneaky speed. To the point that, a guy, they sit back there, they pat their feet. When they take off, it's like, oh, wow, like, this guy is fast. So, I mean, they both, you got to be really, really on the fact that they both could move and they both mobile. So, and they both just sit there and they just wait for the opportunity to take off, or they wait for the opportunity to launch the ball down the field. So, it's a hassle playing against both of them because both of them can move.
They can extend the play too.
Yeah. So,
have you taken your mind to 2 weeks from last night, playing in front of your family, your friends, inside the dome, wearing LSU colors and national TV, playing against Florida State? Have you been able to get there yet? Have you seen it?
Now that we at the end of fall camp, I like to think of the present sometimes, so I could achieve what I had set for myself, but. Now we at the back end of it, and we getting closer to it. Now I'm starting to feel it and starting to see it and start to see the plays that I'm trying to make. Because I'm a visual guy, so I like to visual out the things I want to do and put them into motion, really. So, just probably I'd say when we start to get the game in plan for Florida State in a couple of days, probably like 2 days, 3 days, we'll start game planning for Florida State. That's when I'm going to start to hone in on, like, the plays I really want to make, what I'm going to do, because we'll start to see the concepts of what they do, so I could actually start to visualize their concepts, what plays we're going to be running in, and, those type of things that they'll be going through my mind when it's that time.
Yeah. What do you what do you make of the SEC?
I say it's a baby NFL. It's guys that, who trying to get to the next level, and half of the guys that's in the next level is really, coming from the SEC. I feel that the SEC, it's a big and a fast and a grimy, like, you got to really love football to play in the SEC. So these guys coming out there, they playing like their life is it, So I'd say the SEC is one of the greatest conference that ever be made, and will forever be one of the greatest conference that's ever made. So it's an honor to be able to play and compete in this level of football.
What's the hardest part about playing DB? Is it the rules, or is it the guys that you're guarding?
I'll say, that's a great question. I never had that question asked to me. So I say it's the guys you guard.
Mm-hmm.
The rules. The rules are the rules. I mean, the offensive guys have rules.
They throw
too.
new shit at y'all. It feels like every day with the rules, man. For
Yeah.
DB, I mean, it's such an offensive game. They want TV numbers.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, that's true too. But just knowing who you're going against.
Mm-hmm.
If you know you're going against a guy, he's up for the Belletti Cup award. It's like you gotta come with it every down. But going against somebody, you know that, okay, he's all right, you could get on to him, his talent is not where you at. Sometimes your advantage and your style, your mindset could outwork this guy every play. But you just got to know who you're going against, because you got guys out there that's running like 4.3s, and they can move, they shifty, they smart, so having that and having somebody who just out there just playing and just trying to play receiver ball is totally different. So having somebody who know the game of football is kind of hard than knowing that, okay, this guy's just going out there and trying to run a route. So you just got to know who you going against. That's the hardest part about DB. You got to know how fast they is, how quick, if they could catch, if they run their routes. You got to learn the receiver.
The idea of you and Mekhi on the field together, you and Mekhi Gardner, I mean, that is two of the longest, biggest cornerbacks I can remember as a tandem. What advantage does it give you in the size that you play with at that position? How do you use that to an advantage? Because it's not you kind of look like a safety. You look like a wide receiver.
Yeah, I'd say it's a blessing, because like I said, I was just talking about guys being fast. You got to realize they moving forward, we moving back. So actually having long arms and actually having a chance to put my hands on guys to slow them down, because we all know a quarterback at least have 4 to 5 seconds to throw the ball. So if you get your hands on him just to knock him off his movement, probably a second or half a second, and you could be step on to him. It's kind of like, why would I throw that throw now? This guy is 6'1", this guy is big, he athletic. It's like, so having that advantage of long arms, getting it to disrupt guys and get them off their movement to slow down the quarterback's process. Like, okay, do I want to go this way? Or if they see it's a free release, of course they're going to throw it. But it's just, just having a chance to get your hands on guys, to disrupt guys, get the off their mark.
You're 197. What's your height?
6'1".
And what's your wingspan?
That's something I forgot, but I know it's long.
7 feet.
Now I won't say 7 feet, but I'd say about 6'5" at least. Yeah.
The New Orleans mentality, the Louisiana mentality of an athlete is something that we always talk about, because we've seen it so many times with successful teams, whether it be the nucleus here of LSU. You kind of experienced that, but you in kind of going away, coming back, and seeing and competing at a high level. How different is a Louisiana-made athlete than everybody else?
It's the experiences I would say we go through. I went through a lot of adversity being where I'm from in New Orleans. So I say it's the experience and it's the adversity that you go through. You know, a lot of kids from where I'm from don't go through the same things that's going on somewhere else. So it's like I'd say just having that dog in you too. You know, having that dog in you too, because a lot of Louisiana guys, they normally play with more older guys because it's a place where, you know, I started off at the age of 4. I was playing with 5 and 6 year olds.
Wow.
So it's like, you know, just having that dog into you, it's just kind of different. Like, you know, us Louisiana guys, like the dog and the guy who's big and fast is always gonna overmatch a guy who just, you know, just have that, you know, regular nice swag when it come to football. I feel like Louisiana guys, they have that dog in them and they have that grit that's just
me or you.
Yeah, it's just football. It come with it, you know. So it's just a I say we just more tougher when it comes to
what park did you play in growing up?
I played for several parks. My first park when I first started off with is Stallings, and then I wound up going to Easton, and then I finished off at St. Rock.
I love always asking the guys that come out of New Orleans and the parks they play with, like some of your teammates.
Yeah.
Do you look around college? Do you have guys that you play with?
Let's see. To think of, they all. Well, I don't have guys that I play with. That's
But just guys that came out of your park.
Yeah, I had guys that come out of my park. They gotta play like baseball, basketball. So they you know, they're all over the place when it comes to sports.
This is cool, man. I guess this it's here, right? I
mean, yeah, man. It's here. Everything that, you know, I've been praying for, I've been working for, is coming to light, and the fruit that my tree been growing for years is finally getting the harvest. So I'm just here to, you know, do my job, have fun, and enjoy the time being a Tiger. Like I say, I only had 6 months, and now that you look at it, and you halfway, now you only have a season. You know, a season to play and to enjoy with these guys. So I'm trying to make every moment wonderful in my life and try to remember it as much as possible, because, I mean, I know I ain't going to never get this chance back, and I wish I have another chance at it, but, you know, it's just amazing and an honor to be here and represent these colors.
Is this where you always saw yourself?
Yeah, I always see myself playing here. You know, I don't know. I was like, you know, because we played LSU last year, McNeese, second game. So once I stepped on that field and I knew what I wanted to do when I was there at McNeese, and I was like, you know, if season don't go as planned for me to leave and go to the NFL, I'm going to go in the transfer portal. I'm going to find another home. So when I stepped on that field and it was that atmosphere, and, you know, COVID year just ended, so it was like, LSU bag, and, you know, everybody was there. I'm like, wow, like, this my first time. Cool. Yeah, this is my first time here, and it's like crazy. You know, this is what you won't be, you won't play for. So, you know, having that chance of feeling the energy and just knowing, like, seeing on TV and seeing how crazy the stadium on YouTube used to get. So actually playing in there. But being on the opposite side, it was like, I need to be on that side. So like,
no better recruiting tool.
Yeah. So I mean, it's a wonderful feeling.
Big advantage for you to be 24 doing this, right? I mean, I'd imagine just kind of being a little bit more mature and having this scope of it kind of gives you an advantage.
Yeah, being 24, it's kind of crazy because I still don't feel it, but at the same time, it's like, it definitely give me an advantage because, like I said, I've been through a lot of adversity.
Yeah.
So I know how to handle certain things, and I know how to go away about the professional way about handling yourself as an athlete. So I learned a lot of those things from the guys that taught me, and the coaches that taught me, and the mentors that taught me throughout my process. So that is a big advantage, being 24 and actually playing against guys that's, you know, 23, 22, 21, you know, young guys. But it definitely gives you an advantage because you're more mature, you know how to handle the game, and you've seen a lot more of the game. So it's like a big, big advantage.
It's easy to see why everybody in camp is talking about you, bro. You got the mindset. You're built for this, man. It's fun to watch you and watching you get ready to play.
Yes, sir.
Best of luck to you this season, bro.
It.
Thanks for stopping by this morning.
Thank you.
Absolutely.
Thank y'all.
Defensive back Colby Richardson transferred in from McNeese. As I'd imagine, Brian Kelly will never get his name wrong again after calling him Cody Dickerson. But you see why he has been making a lot of waves here early on in camp. We'll come back and close it out here on the Jordy Culotta Show, driven and powered by Go Chevrolet. I was embarrassed about my smile. Are you unhappy at yours? Do you not smile back at yourself? I called my friend, Dr. Spillers, over at Johnson & Spillers. He fixed my smile, and now everywhere I go, people are complimenting it after the work that Dr. Spillers and the staff did to my mouth. They can do it to yours. Get in touch with them. JohnsonSpillers.com. 2 locations, one in Gonzales, one in Baton Rouge. Easy to find them, JohnsonSpillers.com. We love the crew over at Fresh Chef Kitchen. Chef Shane and his crew dropping off the meals every Monday here to FM Digital Media, whether it's breakfast, lunch, dinner. Me or the crew's going through our meals over at Fresh Chef Kitchen. Their weekly pre-order, freshly made meals, or you can walk into the cooler over there on Airline Highway. They have that fresh, same service over there at Fresh Chef Eats. FreshChefEats.com is where you can find them online. Fresh Chef Kitchen. Tell them you heard it right here on the Jordy Culotta Show.
Some Sunday players in that room, but again, you know, it's got to be the total package, the total process of buy-in, of understanding what we're trying to get done, of figuring out how we want it to get done, but also allowing those guys to be able to play with instincts. For example, I think Jay Ward is long and athletic. He's very versatile. He's played corner, played nickel, played safety. Very excited about, you know, Joe Fouché, one of the transfer guys that we came in. Because he has a dimension of physicality. Major Burns, you know, fortunate enough that he was able to come back home. You know, again, he's long, he's athletic, so he gives you flexibility between both field and boundary safeties. And then you've got some guys that you can throw in like Brooks, Sage, Derek Davis. Todd Harris is a guy that's been around for a while. So I think that we have enough in that room to be successful. But again, you still want to continue to grow and be able to push each.
Boy, there's my boy.
I can't believe you went on day one.
First time last time. We're back.
All right, welcome back here to the Jordy Culotta Show, driven and powered by Go Chevrolet. Remember, every day online at GEAUXChevrolet.com. Great stuff with Colby Richardson.
He's amazing.
Golly,
I'm in love with him.
That was cool.
Like, my gosh, he might be my favorite Tiger.
That was cool,
he's
man.
up there.
He is. He's easy to pull for.
He is.
But you also see why he has had a lot of success here early on.
Yeah.
I mean, he's built for this, man. I mean, he's embracing it. So we appreciate Colby Richardson for stopping by here on this Monday morning. Make sure you hit that like button, share button, comment button as we are about to get out of here on this Monday. As we were talking a little bit about the John Emery situation early on, gave our thoughts there, and then we also talked to Brody Miller, who broke that story on Emery and Radarius Jones early in the hour. So if you missed any of that, make sure and check that out at the Culotta Show.
Yeah, that was awesome.
Pop Smoke.
Yeah, Pot Smoke.
Yeah,
that would be a little dangerous on air.
That would be, right?
Yeah,
But I
right.
totally
That's
thought
actually what I
said.
asked him.
I know you did. Pop.
My head. Get it
I
out
thought
of
that's what I heard, too.
Get it out of the clouds, for God's sake.
Oh, you talking about me? No, but if you have 11 Colby Richardsons, you got a squad. I just hope that they're seeing he walks into that defensive back room. I know he's only been here for 6 months. But if you see him day one, you have to be like, this guy has it figured out. Like,
how can he not? Look what we just saw.
Exactly, that's what I'm saying. So, if I know, like I said, he's only been here 6 months, but that's a leader.
Yeah.
If I've ever seen one. If they follow that model, LSU's going to be just fine.
Oh,
yeah, absolutely.
That guy was impressive.
Not only that, but 24 years old, man.
Yeah.
I mean,
I ain't got no other choice. Like, this is my money. You talk about a money year?
24 years
We
old.
didn't know who he was.
In a college in a college locker room that's how you win.
God, he's so
24-year-olds that can play.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean?
Well, that have that mindset.
Because I mean, the saying used to be in college basketball: if you got seniors, you're losers.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? But if you got one or two that can play and play at a high level and have good experience and have a mindset like that, then you're off and moving, man. You're off and moving. I know somebody asked me here early on that Moscona mentioned that he's going to interview Will Wade, and that I said that Wade's not going to talk unless he's only talking to him about NIL stuff. There's a couple of things on that interview.
When's that happening?
That are off. I don't know. I think it might be today or tomorrow. But it's not. He's not talking to him about anything that happened at LSU. Yeah, right.
It's not going to be cool at all.
Nothing that's cool. We will have that interview.
I want Will Wade back.
Will Wade about NIL is actually pretty funny.
That is pretty funny.
Well, I had my way, they had theirs.
Pretty funny.
I'm a big supporter of it.
If it would have come around 2 years before.
Big supporter of it.
Our Milton.
I was doing NIL before anybody.
Hey, Will, what do you think about Dick Vitale saying that all cases over 2 years should be thrown out at this point? I'm sure you've got a pretty strong opinion on that, huh, Willie?
Yeah, that's NIL related.
Dick
That
Vitale.
poor guy, dude. Will Wade just got sailed down the river.
Eat a dick, Dick.
I miss him.
I do too.
He misses us.
And a video call advocate. He was one of our
Yeah.
first.
Bro, we blindfolded him at the old
Yeah,
spot.
he's always all
I
in.
got him out of his car and put
Oh
a sleep sleep mask
dude.
on him.
How
He
did
was
we
like, "What are
get
you
these
doing?" I was like,
people
"Just
to
trust
show
us."
up?
He's like,
You
what?
sent
He
me
texted
out
me
there
after he was like,
blind,
dude, I don't know about that ever again.
Yeah.
I don't think that I'm gonna do that anymore.
Oh my God.
I don't know that I'm
And
gonna
I
do
had
that
no
anymore.
clue. I just tried it out there and did it. Yeah, I'll go blindfold him. You're like, yeah, you do it.
The
You do it.
blindfold
Okay.
thing was not good for the brand. Dude.
I was not here to stop it.
It
That
was
not
awesome, though.
good
You
for
know
the
it. We
brand. was
blindfolded
awesome.
everyone then.
Yeah, it was awesome. No, I'm speaking from his point. From our
yeah.
point, it was awesome.
Yeah.
Right.
For him, he's like, what did I just
for him,
do?
he was like,
Yeah.
what did you get
So
me into?
cringy,
bro?
like
What did
leading
you?
him in there. Just step right in
Imagine-
front of you. Now sit down. You butt fill the chair. Sit down.
Imagine being him in that moment. It's like, what am I doing?
What am I doing?
What did I
This
say?
is a low point.
Yeah, this is bad.
This is a
Low
Oh
for
my
us, we're
God.
big
dying.
low point. Yeah, right.
Jordy, motherfucker. Oh, gosh,
was
he
awesome.
came to game one.
Oh man, Grady Wade should do a YouTube channel where he just trashes Dick Vitale. I'd be the host of that fucking channel.
would be
Yeah, put it on FM.
For God's
What is he
sakes.
going to do? Do you know?
Well, isn't he sick?
Well, he's waiting
Still
on the
sick,
hearing.
right?
No.
He's
Dickie.
waiting. Are you talking
I
about
don't
Willie?
care about him. No, I'm talking about Will Wade. No,
yeah,
Dick
he's-
kid's cancer free.
He's
Oh, he is?
Yeah,
Okay.
ring the bell.
Okay.
Oh.
Is he for
Shake
real,
your
or are
head.
you just saying that?
No, he is.
He's cancer free?
Yeah,
Okay.
baby.
Did he ever have it?
No, he did. That's ugly.
Minnie, you're asking.
Yeah, right. I'm just
he
curious.
did.
Attention slut.
I'm surprised they had to come out with like a Live Strong band.
Good.
Stop.
Well, don't. It's not over yet.
Yeah, you're right.
Yeah, right. Fight
Y'all
for
be
V.
Sweet. Y'all
Yeah,
be sweet.
a little silicone.
We are being
That's
sweet.
enough.
This is as nice as we can get. Yeah.
But Will Wade.
He's a diaper dandy.
No, Wade is. He's waiting on the hearing. He's waiting on the hearing. He's waiting
When
on the hearing
is that?
before.
I thought
Hey,
that
who
was gonna
knows?
be, like,
Who
July.
knows? It's Will
He
Wade,
could
the
still be
NCAA.
coaching. Yeah, Alvin Kamara.
Yeah,
I mean,
yeah,
I'm starting to feel like jail's not real either.
But I can tell you that he made some really good investments with his money and has some stuff going on where
bet
he's
he did.
busy. You know, I mean, he's busy. But
Does he coach again?
I mean, he wants to.
Did you say does he?
Yeah, does he?
Will
But it
he?
depends on the.
Wait.
Will Wade coach again?
There you go. You're getting the hang of this thing.
I will wait.
I will wait for you.
I will wait for you. He's waiting on the hearing. I mean, you got to see what happens. I mean, if it ends up being like a Donnie Tyndall, I mean, Donnie Tyndall got a 10-year show clause. I mean, the guy's coaching. You know, he's coaching NBA G League basketball.
Donnie Tyndall. Sounds made up.
It does.
Example.
It really does.
Big example guy. Like, you know what I mean? Like in the cog of the NCAA, he means absolutely nothing. Southern Miss and Tennessee coach, we're gonna crush this guy.
Donnie's just trying to pay
We're gonna
rent.
cut his legs out from underneath him. Take away the rest of his earning power for the rest of his life. He can never work around basketball again. Well, why? Well, because he just paid a couple of kids and forged some grades to get them into school. Well, I mean, who's not doing that? You know what I mean? Like, we're going to take this guy, we're going to cut his life, we're going to cut his heart out.
You got to mortgage 2 kids.
Meanwhile,
like,
Calipari and Patino's got some girl at an Italian day on a table in a
30
restaurant.
seconds or less. Our server's here was very fast.
Wait, what happened?
Rick Pitino premature ejaculated
Rick
in a
Pitino,
prostitute at an Italian restaurant.
Right. I'm not here.
Paid for an abortion.
Tell me the story.
That's exactly what
Stop.
happened.
That's
That's
not
exactly
what
what
happened.
And he had to admit in court how long the sexual experience was.
Wait,
and it was
what
like
happened?
It was like a legit 4 seconds.
it was like yes, yeah.
It was like
How
a
did
legit
y'all
4
know
seconds.
that?
He had to do it in
came
court.
out. Yeah, it came out.
Oh, it came out.
Because he was running a prostitution ring inside of a college dormitory with his basketball players.
That's so gross.
And he still is coaching college basketball.
And getting to the
Yet,
tournament.
Donnie Tyndall faked a couple of grades for a 3-star to get into Southern Miss.
Just trying to compete.
And this guy can't be around the game for a decade. I mean, like
Roy
so,
Williamson
you know what I
invented
mean?
an entire class
Yeah,
for his
right.
players.
North Carolina
Nothing happened.
didn't even have classes that they were giving grades to the players for. The classes didn't even exist. They didn't even exist. And Roy Williams was
right there.
celebrated
That is the move.
on the way out. A hell of a
I'm still
move.
back on the 4
Rashard McCants is the one that like sold him out.
Yeah,
He's the one that sold him out.
African American studies. Like that didn't exist. He like said it off the cuff, like, oh.
Yeah, he's like, I didn't even that class didn't even exist. They were like,
Oh,
Huh?
wait,
Oh my
come back a
God.
second.
and he was like, yeah, none of these classes existed. We didn't even go to class.
Damn.
Brand is strong.
North Carolina basketball. Meanwhile, Pat Forty and Dick Vitale are trying to roast everybody that they think are handing out $100 handshakes in
And
the game.
Patino's cream pie and girls in an Italian restaurant.
Why in an Italian restaurant?
I
Was it
could-
really
yeah,
under the
what do you
table?
Patino.
Yeah.
I know, but
Oh,
like,
what do you think he's Greek?
Yeah,
why in a restaurant? I don't care about Italian. I just mean a restaurant in general. Like,
It's 'cause he had the
going on?
I
keys
guess
to the
that was
place.
his. Yeah, I guess that was his kind of duck off.
So 4 seconds.
You know what
in
the
restaurant?
special was?
I don't even know if it was 4.
Chicken Alfredo.
I don't even know if it was 4.
In a cream sauce.
Gross.
Service was fast and friendly.
Ugh.
Could you imagine? She was like, did I even
Yeah,
count?
right.
I know.
are you-
God.
Ugh.
You're done.
now.
I mean, I didn't even know you started.
Yeah.
Hey, for real, is it in?
Oh, it's in. You should see how it feels on this end. That time of my life. Was that good for you?
What is that, a spaghetti noodle?
Come on, Rick.
Grady, Jordy, you should do a documentary about the hypocrisy of the NCAA. Yeah, and then like wake up in my own grave.
Yeah, you would.
I mean, I ain't messing with
Yeah,
those
I
people,
mean, we
bro.
can't even
you
tweet
would.
at practice, much let's go after
Yeah, for God's sakes.
the head honcho.
Colby Richardson was great.
Cody Dickerson was fabulous.
Bro, a dude like him probably takes that as a compliment. I mean, somebody that's like kind of low key, kind of stays below.
Say what you
know
want.
I mean? Yeah, right.
I'm a ball. I mean, he's gonna start. He carries himself like a starter.
No, he's starting.
Yeah.
He's absolutely
How
starting.
did we not know about him?
I
What
know.
happened?
I just think that when they
There were so many.
first off, you took him late. You know, I don't mean this disrespectfully, but he came from McNeese.
Yeah,
You know what I mean? So when you saw that, you just kind of see it come over. You're like, and not only that, he's a graduate transfer. He's 24 years old. I mean, you're thinking like, if you hadn't made your mark by now, you would think that would already happen. But then you kind of go in and read some of the things that he's dealt with in the adversity, and you're like, man. And I'm telling you, the first practice report that I got this season, where you're just talking to people over there, and you're like, give me some names. I mean, there were 3 people, and all 3 of them were like, Colby Richardson. You know what I mean? Like, I was, the first time I heard it, I was like, who? No, like the transfer from McNeese, the cornerback. And I mean, for as much as we celebrated new faces and people that came through here in the offseason, I don't even know if we mentioned Colby Richardson
We
transferring
didn't.
in.
The first time I remember talking about him was when we talked about the Cody Dickerson thing.
I mean,
That's what I mean to me.
no,
that was the first time I really heard
We were
about
talking
him.
about it. The first practice report I gave,
Right.
because I mean, I remember I was like, I'm gonna have a name that nobody's, you know what I mean?
No,
I was
you
like,
did
I
say that. You're right.
mean, I was like, this guy is.
No,
'cause
yeah,
I'm
we
telling
walked
you,
in
all
pre-show, and you're
all
like,
3 guys. I mean,
you're like, dude,
did.
they've got a player there that we're about to lead the show with
Yeah.
because I've been hearing nothing but good things about Colby Richardson, and it's like I have no idea who you're talking about.
Right.
And so I had to hop on Google, and I was like, oh, it came from McNeese. There was one article written about him on like,
Yeah.
oh, LSU ads,
some television
graduate
station, Lake
transfer.
Charles, like
yeah.
put a press release out.
Thank
I mean,
God.
It was nothing, man.
Doug
But then-
Garland, get this out.
But then you go out there and you're like, what number? He's like, they're 22. And I'm like, damn, how did he how did he get past everybody?
He passes the eye test.
Jesus, he looks like he looks like SEC West in a football uniform. And then you're like, the first one-on-one I see with him, it's him and Kayshawn, and like they both go down to the ground, but like it was a physical play where he kind of put Kayshawn on his back. You know, like, I mean, the first thing I said was like, this cat's not intimidated by anything, by anybody. I mean, like, to step out in this practice and go at that cat is like making an announcement. I'm here. You know what I mean? Like, whoever you put in front of me, I'm playing. And he's starting against Florida State.
No doubt.
I'm telling you, he's starting against Florida State, and he's not coming off the field early just by – look at what Brian Kelly has said about him. You know what I mean? Like the
name aside.
Yeah, the name aside. And like to me, after getting to know him, the name thing is a compliment. Because he's just like, I just keep my head down and do my job.
Yeah.
Like, you don't have to talk about me. I like to play from the back, but as long as I'm doing my work, I'm good. Bro, from Brian Kelly's standpoint, he's probably thinking, thank you, God.
It has to be.
Thank you, God. I mean, like, that you've given me a couple of Cody Dickersons. You know what I mean? Like, that I can just, even if I get his name wrong, who cares? You know what I mean? He doesn't.
Right.
The guy does, the player doesn't. I mean, it's just, it's a nice little piece of luxury for Kelly and that staff to be able to have a player like him. So we'll have that isolated for you today. We'll have it cut up all over social media. Make sure to give us a follow at Culotta Show. To keep up with what's happening here. It's a Monday, which means Mikey's going to roll. Mikey's got Brandon LaFell, former LSU standout and former professional player, Super Bowl winner with the Patriots, is going to be here tonight.
And be on alert. It may be 5 to 7 to accommodate JoJo, Brandon LaFell, to make sure we can get him in the allotted time slot because he's got busy man. And Mikey also has a flag football game tonight for the Ancient Athletes, first one. He's like, if it might get rained out. Wow. So be aware of, like, obviously subscribe, hit the bell so you know when we go live, but we'll keep you up to date on Twitter. But Mikey, 3rd overall pick in the Ancient Athletes draft. And, of course, Mikey being Mikey, it was a little low. I mean, I thought I'd go 1-1.
Just let that be the show.
Who went 1-1?
Just take it out there to the football.
I don't know. But
Besh usually goes 1-1 in that thing. Jason Leapart usually goes. They go quarterbacks.
Well, Mikey,
I want to find out live, almost. Who went first?
I don't know. You want me to text him? Mikey's awake.
There's got to be an Ancient Athlete listening right now in the chat. If you're out there and you know, let me know. My highest draft slate was 12.
Yeah,
12.
I mean, that's what I'm a little surprised. 12. How many teams?
The year I play, it's usually 10.
Oh, second rounder.
It's usually 10 quarterbacks go off the board first, right?
And then you got like actual guys that are like.
And then you go after playmakers, guys.
Yeah, and you still got a little spring in the step.
Still have spring.
As long as you got that first move, dude, out there, you can.
Yeah.
So, all right, Stewie.
We're live, Stewie.
yeah. Good Lord.
And Stewie's still in class mode.
Yeah. Phones.
Watching porn on the top row.
Oh my God!
Chat roulette.
Somebody did it today. Somebody opened up their laptop for the first time in a long time. They goes, shit, I'm on Pornhub. This is the last time I used this thing.
Class?
No, that's a psychotic move.
Is it?
Yeah. You think people don't just watch? I mean, you don't casually watch porn. I don't think.
I don't know.
I mean, porn is for a reason. Ask like Rick Pitino. Like there's an end goal there. You're not like, good move.
What does he know about it?
Yeah. What would Pitino know? He just blinked and it was over.
I don't think he's making any porn moves.
Movies are 35 minutes long.
He needs to watch porn.
Yeah, he needs to learn to think
Rick,
too.
your pants are still zipped. I mean,
did you brush your teeth?
Yeah, what do you want to do here, Rick?
You spilled toothpaste all over yourself. Get you cleaned up. Let's get you home.
Hit that like button, share button, comment button. We'll be back with you tomorrow morning, 7 a.m. Jordy Culotta Show, driven and powered by Go Chevrolet.
Rick just came.